software to go live. We should be live in a few seconds or so. Okay. There we go. Did you ever switch out the batteries?
Yeah.
You just put that one over here. Okay, got it. Cool. Okay.
So we're live?
We should be live, more or less. Give us a few seconds for people who may or may not come in. We did this impromptu last minute. Do you see us up?
Yeah.
Okay. You can kick it off.
Well,
now you can see me. Look at that.
what's up, Internet World? We're the News 19 Nerds. I'm Leroy.
I'm Michael, coming to you with heavy hearts. It's I don't even know how to put it into words. I mean, obviously the biggest news is that Chadwick Boseman, actor, South Carolina native, died at 43, battling colon cancer for 4 years. He died tonight in Los Angeles at his home with his family. The news is about midnight now on the East Coast. We probably found out maybe 2 hours
Exactly
ago.
midnight on the East Coast.
Okay, there we go. Yeah, so we found out 2 hours ago, 10 p.m. our time, ET. And yeah, normally we didn't know exactly how we were going to give our feelings on the topic, whether we were going to do like a nice produced video or whatever, but we just decided to just get the feelings out now as they were fresh. So,
yeah, this was I don't even know what you'd call this, but basically the idea was we were talking about it and we were like, should we do something because it's cathartic to talk about this kind of stuff, and we wanted people to know it's okay not to feel okay.
Sure.
It's okay to feel like, I'm just going to say it, 2020 is trash.
Yeah.
Let's go back to 2019.
Yeah, 2020 has not been good.
Yeah, it is. I mean, can we go back to 2008? It's like, pick another year.
I see Zayla Maru in there.
What's up, Zayla Maru? So basically the whole idea was we wanted to talk about Chadwick Boseman, his career, his life, what he meant to us as an actor, what he meant to us as a black man. We got to see. It was so wild because my dad doesn't normally, we just got done with the show. My dad, when somebody passes, my dad doesn't call like, hey, did you? My dad literally called me.
Oh, that's who you're talking to. Okay.
As soon as the show was over, my dad called me and was like, hey, you okay? Chadwick Boseman died. And I was like, yeah, we're about to do something. He's never done that.
Interesting.
Anybody else.
Yeah.
So that's how big of a presence this man was, that my dad was like, yo, Chadwick Boseman died.
To me, it's interesting that you bring that up, because going back before his definitely unfortunate passing and ill-timed for sure, there was always kind of a running joke about Chadwick Boseman is that, oh, he's probably going to portray every black person that's significant.
Oh yeah, because he was Jackie Robinson.
Yep.
He was James Brown.
Yep. He was Thurgood Marshall.
I mean, he's just going to go through all the black characters.
Pretty much. Whether they were real or fictional in Black Panther, he was playing everybody.
Yeah.
And
you know what? I kind of wish he was still here so he could go on SNL and we can have a joke of him like putting on a wig and being Oprah and like just being all the black people. Like, that would have been a great skit on SNL. See, SNL should hire us.
Okay. But the reason I bring that up is because it shows the reach that Chadwick Boseman has as not just an actor, but as an icon in the black community now.
Jaden Smith.
It's just that people know him from all the different things that he's done and how many people he's touched.
Well, not just people know for all the things he's done, but all the things he's done has touched different groups of people. So before we came down here, one of the things so if you're just joining us, we're the News 19 Nerds. We'll probably be doing that throughout this whole little live stream.
Oh yeah, because I guess we probably have new people.
Yeah, so we do a newscast. We work for a CBS affiliate here in Columbia, South Carolina. We do a newscast. And during the newscast, I was watching who was tweeting about Chadwick Boseman. Chadwick Boseman played Jackie Robinson. Jackie Robinson is being honored right now in baseball, the number 42. That was the name of the movie. SportsCenter tweeted about Chadwick Boseman. Mm-hmm. Like, I'm not saying other actors, if they passed, SportsCenter would have tweeted about him, but that's how big of an actor he was. That he didn't just, it wasn't just nerd stuff. Yeah. This man played Jackie Robinson with Harrison Ford. He portrayed one of an American legend in baseball who broke the color barrier. That's not an easy job to do, to bring that on screen. It's just really, it really shows you his range. And at 43, a lot of people don't understand, he was 43 years old. Mm-hmm. That's young. I'm 43 years old.
Yeah.
Me and him were born the same exact year.
Yeah, for sure. It's interesting, right? Just to talk about your feelings and your thoughts and everything. I haven't seen every single movie that Chadwick Boseman has done. The ones that I saw, I did enjoy. I didn't see the what was the one that he did?
The Five of the Bloods.
No. Gods of Egypt.
No, I didn't see that one either.
Okay.
But I did read an interview why he took that role, because he was like, they're going to see someone of color in this role, and the role he played was of an actually intelligent god or an intelligent person. He was like, that's why I took the role, so that you could see someone who looks like he would be from this area, because they had goddamn Jamie Lannister in the movie. It's just like, why is Jamie Lannister in Egypt? So it really was. He really was. His career was short, but it was so bright.
Yeah, and Antoine Allen says, unbelievable. I thought the weight loss was for Defy Bloods. And yeah, because people had talked about the weight loss that he had, and his family and his publicist said they had kept this quiet for the 4 years that he was dealing with it. But it is interesting to think of all the movies he
in
did
4 years
while he was trying to battle.
He was fighting.
Cancer.
So you got to remember, this is a man who was fighting colon cancer, going through chemotherapy, going to treatments, still doing. Because remember, these movie sets, you're there for days, hours long hours at a time. This is a man who filmed Black Panther, the Infinity War movies.
21 Bridges, I would assume.
Say the name again?
21 Bridges?
That is a great movie. That did not get as much love as it should have. One, the movie is beautifully shot. Two, he does an excellent job in it. So you think about those 4 or 5 movies he did, all while carrying this burden. And still being... Think about, like, you see actors and stuff, and sometimes you see these reports of so many different things of people like, oh, he wasn't nice. I have never heard anybody say, oh, he wasn't that great. Yeah. Everybody who has met him has been like, yo, that was a dope brother.
Yeah, and you said friend of the show. We'll call Steven a friend of the show. Why not Steven Dell a friend of the show?
Oh, he's definitely a friend of the show.
Yeah, he actually got to interview him when he was still worked here at WOTX.
Yes.
Explain that story.
So Steven Tyler and James Brown were friends. Steven Tyler helped produce the James Brown movie that Chadwick Boseman starred in. Chadwick Boseman being a resident of South Carolina, a native son of South Carolina, got the role, and Steven Tyler made it possible that in Aiken, South Carolina was the premiere for the James Brown movie. We had set up an interview where basically Steven could go down and cover the red carpet event, because it's a red carpet event in Aiken, South Carolina. Yeah. When in the F is that going to ever happen again? So... reporter, go check him out, Stephen Dial on Twitter. I believe it's
Stephen Dial TV, right?
Yeah, Stephen Dial TV. Yeah. But he's a reporter in Dallas right now. He got to go down there with Corey Epps, one of our photojournalists, and got to cover the red carpet and got to interview Chadwick Boseman.
Yeah.
And I was so happy we were able to put that together, make that happen. It was so cool because it was so cool to see this young brother, this up-and-coming guy who, at the time, like, we knew he was going to be big. We knew, like, you know when you're watching something, you're like, that Negro's going someplace. But you don't, and then you're like, he really went someplace. And that was so awesome. You can go and see Steven's picture he has up there, but also I think Steven's going to post, if you can go on YouTube, I think you can see the interview Stephen Dow did with him. So it was so wow that happened.
Yeah. It's I'm still trying to process it in my head because the news happened so late on the East Coast. I'm sure we're going to hear more about it in the morning, obviously, and his family, they may release more statements. And I'm wondering what kind of reaction we're going to see here in South Carolina because he is a South Carolina son. He was born in Anderson, still has, ties in Anderson. I know he saw his family there because I think he's been back here a couple times,
Yeah.
for sure.
Matter of fact, we thought, remember was it last year? Soda City Comic Con. We talked to Brock, Donald Brock, who runs Soda City Comic Con, and one of the things we talked about, because we had Michael Rooker last year, that was the big star who came. Brock told us, behind the scenes, he's in touch with Chadwick, his family, his people, and he was like, it wasn't, and unfortunately we're not able to do it now. He was like, Chadwick was going to do Soda City Comic Con eventually. They were going to try to put that together, that Chadwick could do a convention here in South Carolina because he was a native son. And it's wild to think about the fact that you have, from South Carolina, Chadwick Boseman, Michael Coulter, Viola Davis. And the one thing I loved about Chadwick and the roles that he took and what he meant a lot to me was, we're from South Carolina. South Carolina at times gets a bad rap.
Sure.
Let's be honest.
Sure.
And to see him be a young black man and be all the roles that he was in, and to be from South Carolina, that's what also meant a lot to me. Because you always hear about, this person's from here, this person's from here. How many people from Columbia, South Carolina, Aiken, South Carolina, Anderson, South Carolina, Marion, Sumter, who go on to be in a $2 billion movie?
Yeah. It's even, there South Carolina can always seem, because it is South, people give it, that stereotype of backwoods type of nature, whatever. Dumb hicks, all that kind of stuff, Southerners.
Don't forget the flag.
Yeah, but I mean, not even that, not even just like socio-political, anything like that. Just having a rural area that South Carolina is, he helped shed light on South Carolina as a growing place.
Yes.
There are so many places in South Carolina, from the capital city, Columbia, to Greenville, to Charleston. I mean, there are a bunch of cities that are really bringing in technology in South Carolina. I kind of felt like him being an ambassador for the Palmetto State helped usher bring some of that stuff in terms of people learning about something. Hey, there's stuff going on here. It's not just like a stereotypical Southern state.
One of the things I think, and so for me, I can tell you, I remember going to go see 42, and I'm a baseball fan.
You got your Boston thing right over there?
I'm a big sports fan. I'm a Red Sox fan. It's been one of those things where I went to see that movie, and not that I didn't know Chadwick, but I knew. I went to see the movie, and I was like, who is this brother being Jackie Robinson? And then I saw Harrison Ford was in the movie, and I was like, okay, Harrison's in the movie, it's going to be decent. At least, like, I know it's going to be decent because I know Harrison Ford does not do crap. And when you're in a movie with somebody of that caliber, they're going to help that movie. And the relationship between Chadwick Boseman's character as Jackie Robinson and Harrison Ford's character, and I cannot remember his name, but he's the one who picked Jackie. He's the one who said and told him, this is what's going, you can't fight back. You can. And that, watching that dynamic between the two of them on screen was amazing. And and again, I'm saying this quite often, as a black man seeing that relationship and seeing how well they work together, I was like, oh, that brother going someplace. But then I enjoyed the fact that even on screen with a guy like Harrison Ford, he stood his ground. Because we've seen a lot of movies where a character or a personality like Harrison Ford, one of the greatest actors of our generation, especially action stars, for you to stand toe-to-toe and be able to hold your own and be remembered for that movie, because let's be honest, he's on the marquee. you remember, like, people are like, oh yeah, I saw Jackie Robinson. People forget Harrison Ford was in that movie.
Mm-hmm.
That's what meant a lot to me, seeing that and then watching his career go on. And I bring up 42 and we're talking about it, but you can see we like Black Panther.
Sure.
You can see, like, I have the Hasbro mask that lights up and has the thing. I have that.
I remember you brought it to the station.
Oh yeah, I left the station to go get it.
Yeah.
I ordered it. It came. They said it was at the station. I left in the middle of the workday to go get the helmet.
Going back to to the many roles that he had, I like that. The easy and reductive thing you say about him is, oh yeah, he's just playing these iconic black characters, but they were all different in terms of what they were doing. Like James Brown, a musical pioneer. Jackie Robinson helped break the color barrier.
Yeah.
Thurgood Marshall, fighting for civil rights and justice. I mean,
First African American
Justice.
Supreme Court justice.
Yeah. So I mean, all these different firsts that he was doing, it helped shed light on a positive spin, and not necessarily giving these positive roles for black actors and not having a stereotypical role of somebody who's some type of gangbanger or thug or whatever to make it in mainstream Hollywood. So I think that's a very cool thing about Chadwick Boseman, and that's not people necessarily talk about.
So, trying to take care of something real quick, guys. There we go. So I think that worked. All right, so we, sorry. Guys, I see you guys in the chat, and we're going to get to some of your comments in a second. And, so, how long is 300 seconds?
5 minutes.
Okay. So, we saw what was going on, guys. We trying to monitor the chat while we were doing this. So, one of the things I think that is important that I want to reiterate again is it's okay to feel not okay. 2020 has taken a lot. It's thrown some shots. I feel like we're still standing.
Sure.
Barely. It's like,
I mean,
I feel like 2020 is like, is this your king? And we're like, whoo.
Yeah, that's rough. Not exactly what you want to hear.
Yeah, and we're getting up, but we're slowly getting up, and I feel like the end of the year we're gonna rebound. But man,
do we want to look? Maybe we'll wait and give more time. I want to know if you wanted to prognosticate for Black Panther 2, but we can do that later.
We can do that later.
Okay.
But one of the things I wanted to talk about was for you guys who are watching this and having the end of the discussion, the chat. I know this hurts for a lot of people. I know we had a person in there, Mr. Brooks, and he didn't see it, and I respect his opinion. Everybody's entitled to their own opinion. I disagree with it. The reason why this hurts for lots of people was because he was such a young man. He was such a personable young man. And he was appreciative of what
his opportunities,
but also how people felt about him. One of the things I think you guys should go online and look at, the Tonight Show with Jimmy Fallon had a little segment where people would come in while Black Panther the movie was in theaters, and there was a poster of the movie, and Jimmy Fallon was back behind with Chadwick Boseman, and people were telling the poster, like, hey, yo, really appreciate what you did, yada, yada, yada. And people were thinking, and Chadwick is behind the poster. And he comes out and surprises the fans who were giving him or talking to him, but they didn't know they were talking to him. And it's one of those things where it was so heartwarming to see, because here's a person who realizes the impact of his role in playing Black Panther, who understands what this means for a community, for a group of people who have never seen themselves on this. You got to think about how much money Black Panther took to make.
Sure.
And how much money it brought in. And how many times we've heard from certain people saying, oh, black movies don't sell. We can't anchor if it's not comedy. And an all black cast The only white people were from Lord of the Rings movies. Their names just poof out
Andy
of
Serkis and
Andy.
Martin Freeman.
Thank you. I was like,
okay, I didn't know where you're going.
I could not remember who they
Yeah.
were. Like I could see their faces, but that movie was amazing. And the fact that he anchored that movie, carried that movie, his presence, and to see him in that segment, listening to people talking and telling, and like he would come out, and people were just like shocked and like, and he was so gracious to each and every single one of them. That's one of the things, like that's what people are like. That's what I'm on Twitter for. This is the content I'm here for.
Yeah.
And you can't say that about a lot of people. You can, like, some people you meet, they say don't meet your heroes. You meet some people and they're dicks. We've met some people and they were not cool.
One thing that I want to bring up is when Black Panther first came out. One of the negative things that people were saying about it is, oh, it's not this great movie, and I've been on record. I have said several times, Black Panther is not a good comic book movie. I think it's a good movie. I think it's a bad comic book movie personally, but I think it is a very good and influential movie. It was we talked about it being an all black cast, or a predominantly black cast, with both in front of the black people, in front of the camera, behind the camera. The executive producer Nate Moore from Marvel Studios was black. Helped spearhead that movie.
Ryan Coogler.
Yeah, it showed a light on just positivity in the world in terms of people learning about different cultures. The names you're not used to hearing T'Challa.
No,
Shuri,
Okoye.
You're not used to hearing those names.
M'Baku.
Right. It helps you to learn about a different culture.
Yeah.
Even if it's a fictional world, you're like, oh, let me learn more about these African cultures and overall. You see the different tribes in Wakanda, and you're like, oh, this is interesting. Let me learn more about this. The language they use, I don't know what it's called, but they actually use a clicking language that you can learn more about. And I think I won't say it's the first movie ever to do this, but it shines light on bringing different cultures out. And I kind of feel like, what came out first, Black Panther or Crazy Rich Asians?
Black Panther.
Black Panther. I think Black Panther helped set the way for people who are stuck in their own ways to learn about different cultures. So then we get a movie like Crazy Rich Asians, so you can learn about stuff that is going on in Asian culture you may not think about.
Yeah.
I'm super excited to see Shang-Chi because I hope it can do for Asian culture and Asian people and population what Black Panther did for Black people and population. Just to learn more about their culture, to learn more about these people who, a stereotype that you always hear is, Asian people are smart and then they know Kung Fu and that's it.
Good at math, bad at driving, Kung Fu.
Right. And, I
think there's a little bit more there.
Right. You can't just reduce people to that. And I'm excited for, again, another Marvel Studios movie to shed light on that culture for those people.
One of the things I loved about Black Panther was not just because of it was a superhero movie, finally get to see T'Challa on screen. Antoine Allen, thank you.
Okay.
Is it Zosha?
Well, I don't know how to say that.
Okay.
Y'all can see in the chat.
Can you put the phonetic how we pronounce that in the chat real quick? So but one of the things I loved about the movie was it was at the right time. The movie, if you remember what was going on in the world, we were dealing with a lot of immigration problems, and what should you become an isolationist, the sins of the past coming back, like all of these different themes that we've seen in other movies, we got to see in this movie. And the idea that T'Challa, Chadwick Boseman's character, understood his dad was wrong. Understood that you created this problem because if you had brought that boy home, hashtag Killmonger was right. I just gotta have a feel. It's a good movie when you're watching a movie and you're like, ooh, I'm kind of siding with the villain here. But his character was trapped between two worlds. This old traditional culture of this is how it's always been done. We've protected ourselves. We've closed our borders. We don't need to open them. Versus where he's like, Nakia is our person who goes out, who eliminates threats and sees that we need to help the rest of the world. We have technology that we can actually help make the world a better place, where we don't know how to make the world Wakanda, but we can help.
Yeah.
We're surrounded by all of these natural borders. Why are we not helping? And the parallels between what was going on in the world and what was going on in this world is so interesting, because it's one of those things where you may not get it as a kid who's watching this movie. You think this is just a great superhero movie. But as you grow up with these things, these complex situations and questions in this movie is going to stick with you. I remember reading, why I love comic books, I remember reading and seeing themes that I had never seen in any other medium or literature.
Oh, sure.
I remember reading the word machinations before I was a teenager. And working here at News 19, our main anchors did not know what that word was. A producer wrote machinations in the script, and they refused to read it and got mad at the producer. Don't get me wrong, I can understand where they were like, that's not a word I normally see. But as a comic reader, I knew that word. Mm-hmm. And I realized that these kids who are growing up with Black Panther, who have this film, now get to see and have some of these complex situations introduced to them, and on a level that they can understand, that they can apply to their lives, that they're like, oh yeah, the immigration issue, borders, should we help people? Should we be isolationists? The Monroe Doctrine, when you go to and reread history, you realize all of these things was in that movie that was created by, and kudos to Marvel for allowing Ryan Coogler and those people to create this movie and create a world, a functioning world within the MCU.
Yeah. Anything else you want to say? I mean, we can keep it short and sweet. We ain't got to go full.
No.
I just want to get my thoughts out.
One of the things I did want to talk about was in Black Panther. I know we were talking about the movie because this character means so much. Personally, I'm going to be honest with you. I do not want them to recast Black Panther.
Okay.
I want them to do a lovely tribute. The king has passed. Let Shuri be the Black Panther. I want them to do a storyline kind of like the search for Spock in Star Trek, when Spock died and they went looking for Spock. This time they don't find Black Panther. They do in the sense of they're looking around the kingdom to try to find
somebody to replace.
And then they realize, oh wow, we have the Black Panther right here, and it's Shuri. That's what I'm hoping they go with. In my opinion, you already, if you go on Twitter right now, you're already seeing that trend, Black Panther 2, and you're seeing Shuri already trending online.
One thing I brought up to you in the newsroom, which is, it's a crazy situation because you have to, I think the audience is smart enough to know what you're doing, but I think I thought it would be interesting if they if they had to do another T'Challa, another Black Panther, if they were to make it Michael B. Jordan. And it provided that Killmonger wasn't going to be in the second Black Panther movie, which rumors said they might have brought her back. If he wasn't, you just recast and say, now this is Michael B. Jordan. Only because
this is Black Panther.
Yes, yeah. Michael B. Jordan is now Black Panther. He's not Killmonger. And you live in that fiction. And the only reason why I like that, I know it's weird and it's too much mumbo jumbo and working it out. I just like the idea of Ryan Coogler getting to work with Michael B. Jordan again because they've done so many movies together and they work so well together. Shuri has been Black Panther before, and I love the idea of Shuri being Black Panther and her fighting, because T'Challa was more of a traditionalist, and Shuri was more, in the comics, she was more of the, I'm going to do it this way. And it rubbed some people the wrong way, and then it was almost like a role reversal where T'Challa then started being the rebel, and Shuri was like, hey, you need to bring your behind here, stop gallivanting off with these Avengers, we got stuff down here to fix. I would really like to see that transition. We've seen the outpouring of support. We see it from you guys in the chat, but also you saw it from DC tweeted, rest in peace. Yeah.
You saw Sports Center. You see Chris Evans tweeted. You're starting to see other people as this news filters out. It is a big deal for those people who don't understand for this one comment right here, and I want to make sure I get it, from Clay Moore. No, wait. well, it's one of them from Claymore, but Lionel T. Seeing Mr. Boseman be Black Panther on the big screen was the first time I could see myself as a superhero. Not only a superhero, royalty.
Mm-hmm.
This one hurts.
Yeah.
And that's one of the things I think Claymore saying, I will miss not having that Mr. T'Challa. He gave the character some of his real personality. Even when he was sick, this is from Claymore, he gave us some good performances. And that's what this means to a lot of people. The fact that they were able to see a black man not only just be a superhero, but be a king when we have seen so many other people get those opportunities. Mm-hmm. Get them and mess them up.
To kind of piggyback off what Lionel T was saying, in terms of royalty, it's funny when you think about all black family that's royalty in movies. I can think of two, like Shaka Zulu and Coming to
America. Which
Coming to America is fantastic.
Yeah.
It's also a comedy.
Yeah.
And with that, you may not take it as seriously because it is a comedy.
Yep.
So it's great to see this in this, serious movie, Family of Royalty. I think that's a pretty big deal.
And so it also going back to what you said for what the MCU is going to do with Shang-Chi, opening the door for maybe, a more broader understanding of Asian cinema, Asian culture. Black Panther showed that black stories work. Mm-hmm. And so now you're seeing more people say, hey, I now get to tell this story, or I now get to tell this story. And that's the door it opened up. And I'm going to be honest with you, another door it opened up because it was on NPR today. Killmonger going to a museum and discussing the treasures from indigenous cultures being stolen mm-hmm. and returning them to their cultures. On NPR today, there is a case in France where activists tried to steal the artifacts and return them to their natural habitat. And this is a movement that is now, it was before the voices were loud, it is now louder. Mm-hmm. And that's something, not saying that Black Panther inspired this, but it brought it to the forefront that there are people who didn't even think about that for mm-hmm. a second, saying, oh yeah, where did they get that?
Right.
And you saw in Killmonger this real world events that are happening in this movie. And again, credit to the people who brought that tale to life in a believable way.
Yeah.
I'm reading some of these comments in the chat.
As he reads these comments, we have definitely had more people than we've ever had in the chat at one time. Mm-hmm. We realize why, because there's breaking news. We are the News 19 Nerds. I'm Michael.
I'm Leroy.
We normally talk about comic book, pop culture stuff, video game stuff on our channel. We also do a live weekly show, usually Friday nights, about 8:30 Eastern Time, called Press Play. To kind of catch everybody up who's new in the chat, we weren't going to do one today just because we had a lot of stuff going on in our newscast. But once this news of Chadwick broke, we decided to do one, or whatever we're going to call this. We decided just to kind of talk about our thoughts.
Talk about our thoughts.
So that's
because,
where we are.
Yeah, talk about our thoughts. Talk about it with you, because I'm gonna be honest with you. This hurts. I'm not gonna lie. I shed a tear in the newsroom. This one bothered me. Mm-hmm. And I say this, and I want to say it again. It's okay to not be okay considering what has been going on. I want to say, someone mentioned, I subscribe back. Kobe, now him. Kobe Bryant dying was a big deal to people. 2020 took some very big people. Elijah Cummings was last year. This year was John Lewis. Another person we got a chance to, our station. We actually did Lauren Thomas. Shout out to LT.
Today's Lauren's birthday.
Yeah. Oh yeah, I forgot.
Yeah. People in the chat, Antoine Allen put it in here, but before, Lauren actually got to talk with Congressman Lewis.
Yeah, and
which
so
was pretty cool. This year or last year?
Last year.
Last year. Okay.
It was on the fair.
Yeah, during the fair last year.
I ain't forgot.
Behind the scenes
Oh
politics.
man, you know I ain't forgot. I will never forget that.
Yeah, for real. But yeah, shout out to Lauren. She's enjoying life with her family right now, so that's cool.
But it's one of those things where you're like, 2020 took a lot of people, and a lot of different things have happened this year that have been traumatizing to people. I mean, we're still in the midst of a pandemic, and this man's roles that he played meant a lot to a lot of people. And so we're going to see an outpouring of support. And the reason why we want to do this is because we wanted a place where people could come. We all talk about it and kind of commiserate together and remember the good times that we had of watching this man on screen in some of these roles. Get to some of these chat comments.
Not so plain Jane. Thank you for doing this because I've been crying. Black Panther was so important to us as black people. So exciting. And he and I don't know what the rest of it is, but yeah.
I feel like the girl is like she's doing DMX. I feel like that's DMX.
Hey, new person that we've never met. I hope we didn't offend you by doing that.
I feel like that's what she was like. She's like, I'm hurt. And when DMX gets hurt, you know.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's, again, this is one of those things where I know how this felt for me. I know how it felt for Michael. When Michael came over and told me this, because he told me in the newsroom right before our 11 o'clock newscast started.
Oh, I can walk you through. Okay, so I'll say
go. Yeah, because
we're working on 11 p.m. show, and then we work at WOTX, which is owned by Tegna, and we have a content distribution team that helps push out digital stories nationally to make sure we're covering as much stuff as possible. And then in our Slack channel, somebody had wrote, the AP is reporting Chadwick Boseman is dead. I tried to call you several times. I yelled out your name. I guess you were watching something.
I was watching a comedy show and an action figure breakdown of the new Todd McFarlane Batman action figures.
So there you go. So yeah, I had to come over to your desk and be like, "Yo, Chadwick Boseman is dead." AP's reporting it, and you were like, and then go ahead. What'd you say?
I think I said "F you."
No, you didn't say that. You were just like, "You lying."
I did say that. I know I did, because I was like, "Don't play with me. That's not. That ain't the kind of thing you want to play with." And I didn't believe it, and it was one of those things where as soon as you said it, I have two screens. I saw it. I was on Twitter watching YouTube and then marking the show as I go along. And as soon as you said it, I hit refresh, and the Associated Press article popped up on my screen, and I was like, "Oh, this is real." And it was a blow. Like it was almost like, I don't know if you've ever played football, or if anybody's ever hit you in the chest, and you're trying to get the air in, and you can't. Like, is this what dying feels like? And you don't understand what is happening. And that's how I felt.
And I think another reason it's so shocking, because we talked about what he meant as an icon and all that, but it is also shocking because 43 is young. And he kept the battle with colon cancer private to his family. So nobody knew what that, like, you're dealing with, he died, and he also had colon cancer. Yeah. It's just you're getting hit with multiple blows.
And you're realizing, one, cancer sucks. We all say cancer sucks, but then you realize, and you're like, he was dealing with this. And then I know some people are like, I wish I had known, because some people are of the mindset we would have appreciated it more. I'm of the belief, and it's not my phrase, it's give people the roses while they're still alive. Don't wait for someone to pass. Appreciate everybody who means something to you now, because you never know when they're going to go.
Sure.
Or when that person or persons will be taken from you. And this is an opportunity for us to just say, hey, our king is gone. Long live the king. We appreciated his work, and we're, just here talking with you guys, working through why this is a big deal.
Yeah.
And why this affected so many people.
Yeah. You want to rap?
Yeah. There's a lot of you guys and girls in here. I really wish we could go. There's probably more we could talk about, but
honestly, it's still hitting me because I still haven't fully compressed it yet.
Oh.
Because we talked about it, we got it in the newscast, and I still want to just kind of spend time with myself and think about what that really means to me.
I'm gonna tell you right now, I'm gonna be drinking and watching Black Panther. No, start with Civil War. Then I'm gonna go Black Panther. And then I'm just gonna,
I don't know if I told you I had done the MCU rewatch recently. So I had just finished up Endgame after watching Iron Man, all 20 plus movies, maybe earlier this week. I may go back and do it again. I don't know.
Son,
But
I still get choked up when Steve Rogers is down and I hear on your left.
oh, with Falcon.
Clarence.
Why do you call him Clarence? What story is this? What?
From Eminem's movie, 8 Mile. Remember he was the rapper?
Anthony Mackie was in that movie?
Yeah.
Wow.
That's why they call him Clarence.
I don't keep up, man. I don't know. Okay,
so
fair enough.
When old boy says on your left, and then you see Doctor Strange's little, him and Wong's, and out comes the Trinity. Okoye, Shuri, and Chadwick.
Yeah.
And all you hear is, we Bombay!
Yeah.
We Bombay! And you're like,
cool.
son, like, I still get choked up on that. And you realize, and you're like, oh, you in trouble. Oh, we about to F you up, Thanos.
You about to get the full weight of Wakanda.
Hey, son.
Yeah.
That's when Thanos is like,
Yeah.
and honestly, that's when it should have turned into a comedy. And Thanos should have had that internal thought. You're probably wondering how I ended up here.
Yeah, for sure.
I was like, yo, that's when Thanos knew. He's like, oh, shit. Yeah, just reading some of your guys' comments.
Oh, man, yeah. We're going to have to do a separate thing.
Yeah.
Just talk about, like, what this means for Black Panther 2 and all that kind of stuff and just speculate more. Like, we could keep going, but I kind of just want to chill.
Yeah, I mean, I'm a drink. I'm probably going to be drunk tomorrow.
Yeah.
I'm just going to go ahead and tell my wife now.
Katie, I'm sorry.
Oh, I'm going to take care of the baby, but, like, about when he goes down for that second feeding, ooh.
That's it. That's when it's over.
I might watch Brooklyn's Finest and just be ah! just screaming. I'm not.
You're gonna be like, now we're kind of processing this different ways. But I'm like, you're gonna be like James with Good Times.
I just don't like. I remember the conversation when I watched Brooklyn's Finest, and me and you were talking about it. And I came to work and I was like, yo, son. You got to see Brooklyn's Finest. You were like, was that good? I was like, son, it was so good. And the Russo brothers put it together.
Wait.
I'm just like,
Brooklyn's Finest, 21 Bridges.
21 Bridges. I'm sorry. Brooklyn's
you can't
Finest.
say Brooklyn's. That's Don Cheadle, right?
Yeah, sorry.
Yeah. All right.
Sorry.
Cool. We're good.
What's the movie again? 21 Bridges? Oh, yeah. Okay.
21 Bridges. Yeah.
So I'm just watching that movie and watching him in it and just watching him maneuver. But I say this, he looked so good and so smooth in it. And the city. One of the things I think that they did a good job with this movie, which is something I think if you go back and you watch, Michael Mann does this. There's a way they shot the city became a character. Michael Mann did this with L.A. when it came to Heat, one of my favorite movies. But you also see it like in Miami Vice. The different way the city, this New York was its own character. And I remember watching that movie, was like, yo, more people need to see this because he was cold as ice in that. And I was just like, son, I'm like, yo, this was cool. And that's how I feel. Like, I'm in that moment where I'm like, I'm not sure how to react and respond. Like, I'm joking about it to keep from crying, but I really feel like I'm going to be holding the baby, giving him a bottle, taking a sip of some whiskey or something, and we just crying together. Him crying because I'm not feeding him quick enough, and me crying because Chadwick Boseman's on screen, and I'm just going to keep watching this movie.
Right.
So yeah.
All the new people are in here. I'm Michael. This is Leroy. We're the News 19 Nerds. Happy that you're joining us to kind of, vent your feelings.
Commiserate together.
Sad that this is the reason that we had to talk about it, but we do host a live stream every Friday night around 8:30 ET on YouTube. We talk about happier stuff usually, nerd stuff, pop culture, video games. You're welcome to join us next week. Hopefully we should have a podcast or a stream, and it won't be more crazy breaking news. But I'm done. Are you done?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Claymore, I will not be drinking responsibly. He was like, I'm going to do the same thing and drink responsibly. I'm not going to drink responsibly. I'm going to need at least a liter of Gatorade by tomorrow. Miles Cage, no, I'm actually not from New York. I'm actually from here, Beaufort, South Carolina. There's a lot of you guys in here, guys and girls. I want to get to all your names and shout out, but I can't.
Yeah,
That ain't gonna happen. But we just wanted to say thank you. We're gonna wrap this up. We really appreciate you guys doing this with us. It meant a lot. 2020 has been hard, and this is the thing I'm gonna lead. We didn't even get to how Denzel helped put him through college. Like, we didn't even get to that story. Go look that story up. It's very heartwarming to see one generation of great actor reach back and help another generation. And it's a great story. Go listen to Denzel. Go listen to Chadwick. Watch his movies. Appreciate your loved ones. You never know when they could be gone. We really appreciate you guys because this helped us be cathartic and work through it. I'll be honest with you. If there's anything out there Chadwick did or Black Panther, this is the time to get it now because people could be selling it. So commiserate together, and we hope to see y'all next week. Hey, Wakanda forever. We're out.